Have you ever felt like your 20s were supposed to be the best years of your life? Yet somehow, they feel like the most confusing. Your career path isn't clear, your bank account never feels enough, and even with hundreds of online friends, you still feel lonely sometimes. If you've ever caught yourself asking, what am I even doing with my life? You're not alone. This stage has a name, the quarter-life crisis. And it's something almost everyone faces, but few talk about openly. In this video, we'll dive into the 5 biggest struggles people face in their 20s, from career pressure, identity confusion, financial struggles, relationships, all the way to losing faith in the future. More importantly, I'll show you how to recognize these struggles and turn them into stepping stones for growth instead of obstacles that hold you back. In your 20s, one of the most pressing challenges you face is the overwhelming pressure of choosing a career direction. It often feels like every decision you make at this age will determine the rest of your life. Society, family, and even your peers contribute to the weight of this expectation. You are constantly told that you should figure it out as quickly as possible, as if one wrong step will close the door to success forever. This mindset creates an enormous amount of stress, leading to feelings of uncertainty, fear of failure, and a sense of falling behind. When you first leave school or graduate from college, the world can seem wide open, but paradoxically, it also feels suffocating. There are endless career options, yet the responsibility of choosing just one can leave you paralyzed. You may question whether the degree you pursued was the right choice, whether the job you are applying for aligns with your passions, or whether you should take a risk on something unconventional. These doubts make you second-guess yourself, often comparing your journey to others who seem more successful, more confident, or further ahead. The influence of family plays a significant role in this career pressure. Many young adults experience the heavy weight of parental expectations. Families often want their children to choose stable, well-paying jobs, believing this is the safest path to a secure future. However, these expectations may clash with what you genuinely want. If you dream of becoming an artist, writer, entrepreneur, or pursuing a career outside the traditional path, you may feel torn between following your heart and meeting your family's standards. This inner conflict creates a cycle of guilt and hesitation. Pursuing your dream may make you feel like you are letting your family down, but choosing their preferred path can leave you unfulfilled. Another layer of pressure comes from the rapidly changing job market. Careers that were considered prestigious and stable a decade ago may not carry the same weight today. Technology is reshaping industries at lightning speed, creating new opportunities while rendering old ones obsolete. As a young adult, you are expected to adapt, learn quickly, and keep up with these changes. This adds to the anxiety of not just choosing a path, but making sure it will remain relevant and sustainable in the future. The idea of spending years studying or working in one direction, only to find out it no longer holds value, is terrifying. Peer comparison magnifies this pressure. Social media constantly showcases the highlight reels of people your age who seem to have it all figured out. You see friends posting about their new jobs, promotions, business ventures, or opportunities abroad, and it's difficult not to compare. Even if you are making progress at your own pace, you might feel inadequate because you believe you are not moving fast enough. This comparison trap feeds into self-doubt, making you question your abilities and your worth. The psychological toll of career direction pressure is often underestimated. Many young people experience burnout early in their careers because they push themselves too hard to meet unrealistic expectations. They take on jobs they dislike, work long hours, or sacrifice personal happiness in order to feel on track. Over time, this can lead to stress, anxiety, and even depression. The constant search for clarity and purpose becomes exhausting, making it difficult to enjoy the present moment. However, it's important to recognize that uncertainty is a natural part of your 20s. This decade is meant for exploration, trial, An error, the idea that you must have everything figured out by a certain age, is a myth that causes unnecessary suffering. In reality, many successful people took unconventional routes or discovered their passions later in life. Allowing yourself the freedom to experiment with different jobs, internships, or career paths can help you gain valuable skills and clarity. Each step you take, even if it feels like a detour, contributes to your growth and shapes your future. Direction. Developing resilience is key to navigating career pressure. Rather than viewing uncertainty as a sign of weakness, it can be reframed as an opportunity to grow. Building resilience means learning to adapt, embracing mistakes as lessons, and not defining your worth solely by your career achievements. Setting small, achievable goals rather than focusing on a rigid long-term plan can also help reduce anxiety. By breaking down the overwhelming question of what should I do with my life into smaller, manageable steps, you create space for progress without feeling crushed by the weight of perfection. Support systems are also essential. Talking openly with peers who share similar struggles can provide comfort and perspective. Seeking mentorship from older professionals who have experienced similar challenges can help you see that career paths are rarely linear. They often involve twists, setbacks, and unexpected turns that ultimately lead to fulfilling outcomes. Hearing real stories from others can remind you that you are not alone and that the journey of finding your place in the world takes time. It is equally important to learn how to balance external expectations with your internal values. Instead of chasing a career purely for money, prestige, or approval, take time to reflect on what truly matters to you. What skills do you enjoy using? What kind of impact do you want to have? What lifestyle do you envision for yourself aligning? Your choices with your values not only reduces inner conflict but also increases the likelihood of long-term satisfaction. While compromise may sometimes be necessary, staying connected to your authentic self helps ensure you do not lose your sense of identity in the pursuit of success. Lastly, embracing flexibility can be a powerful mindset. Your first job does not define your entire life. Your career is not a single straight line, but rather a series of steps, each one teaching you something new. Many people reinvent themselves multiple times, switching industries, learning new skills, or even starting over completely. By accepting that your 20s are just the beginning of a lifelong journey, you free yourself from the illusion that everything must be perfect right now. The pressure to choose a career direction in your 20s is real and deeply challenging. It stems from societal expectations, family values, peer comparison, and internal fears. Yet it does not have to be a source of despair. By embracing uncertainty, seeking guidance, and aligning your choices with your authentic values, you can transform this pressure into an opportunity for growth. Instead of seeing your 20s as a test you must pass flawlessly, you can view them as a foundation for experimentation, discovery, and resilience. In the end, the career pair altogether. You move away from home, finish school, or enter the workforce, and suddenly you are faced with a profound question. Without those external definitions, who am I really? This question can be liberating, but it is also terrifying. One of the biggest challenges is the tension between living for yourself and living for others. You may feel torn between pursuing personal passions and fulfilling the expectations of family or society. Perhaps your family envisions you becoming a doctor, lawyer, or engineer, but your heart is drawn toward art, entrepreneurship, or travel. This conflict can leave you questioning whether your identity is truly your own or simply a reflection of what others want from you. Living inauthentically may provide temporary approval, but over time it leads to dissatisfaction and a sense of emptiness. Another layer of the identity crisis comes from the influence of social comparison. Social media magnifies this struggle by presenting curated images of other people's lives, careers, relationships, lifestyles that appear perfect and effortless. As you scroll through endless success stories, it's easy to question your own worth. You might wonder, why am I not like them? Why don't I have it figured out? This constant comparison can blur your sense of self, making you feel like you need to mold yourself into someone else's version of success. Instead of discovering your unique identity, you risk chasing an illusion that leaves you even more disconnected. Cultural expectations also play a significant role in shaping identity crises. In some societies, strict norms dictate what milestones should be achieved by a certain age: graduating, securing a job, getting married, or starting a family. If your path doesn't align with these timelines, you may feel inadequate or like a failure. These cultural pressures can silence your authentic desires, forcing you to question whether your choices are valid if they don't match the script handed down to you. For many, reconciling cultural values with personal freedom becomes one of the greatest struggles of early adulthood. The search for identity also touches deeply on relationships. Romantic partnerships, friendships, and professional connections all shape how you see yourself. In your 20s, you may experiment with different roles in relationships: partner, leader, supporter, or independent soul. Each experience challenges you to redefine what you want and what you will not accept. Breakups, conflicts, or betrayals can trigger deep reflection, forcing you to confront who you are when the connection is gone. While painful, these moments of loss often become catalysts for self-discovery, showing you that your identity must be rooted in yourself rather than in others. Psychologically, the identity crisis can manifest as anxiety, confusion, or even paralysis. You may feel pressure to present a confident version of yourself to the world while internally wrestling with doubts. Questions like, am I enough, or do I belong, can linger constantly, undermining your sense of stability. Without clarity, it becomes tempting to escape into distractions, work, relationships, or entertainment rather than facing the uncomfortable task of self-exploration. Yet avoidance only delays the process, keeping you stuck in uncertainty. Despite the discomfort, the identity crisis of your 20s is not just a burden. It is also a powerful opportunity. This period of questioning allows you to shed identities that no longer serve you and to experiment with new ways of being. Through trial and error, you discover your values, passions, and boundaries. Each experience, whether successful or painful, becomes a clue that guides you closer to authenticity. One practical way to navigate an identity crisis is through self-reflection. Journaling, meditation, or simply spending quiet time with your thoughts can help. You identify patterns and desires that run deeper than external approval. Asking yourself questions such as what excites me, or what feels true to me even if others disagree, can provide direction. Another strategy is exposure, trying new activities, exploring different social groups, or traveling. Each new experience offers a mirror, reflecting parts of yourself you may not have recognized before. Mentorship and community can also play an invaluable role. Talking with people who have gone through similar struggles can provide reassurance and perspective. Mentors can share their stories of how they navigated uncertainty, reminding you that identity is not fixed but continually evolving. Surrounding yourself with supportive peers who encourage authenticity rather than conformity can help you feel safe to explore your individuality without fear of rejection. Importantly, embracing fluidity is key. Identity is not something you decide once and keep forever. It shifts as you grow, learn, and experience life. The person you are at 20 will not be the same at 25 or 30, and that is not a sign of failure, it is a sign of growth. Allowing yourself the freedom to change directions, redefine goals, or let go of outdated labels helps you stay aligned with your evolving truth. Ultimately, the identity crisis of your 20s is less about finding one definitive answer and more about learning to live with the questions. It is about embracing the uncertainty and trusting that clarity comes gradually. Instead of demanding immediate certainty, you can focus on building a deeper relationship with yourself, one rooted in honesty, curiosity, and compassion. By doing so, you lay the foundation for an identity that feels authentic and resilient. one that can withstand the inevitable changes and challenges of life. In the end, the crisis becomes less of a cliff and more of a crossroads. It is an invitation to pause, to question, and to consciously choose the path that reflects who you are becoming. Though the process can be painful and disorienting, it is also profoundly transformative. By navigating this identity crisis with openness and courage, you step closer to living a life that is truly your own. Financial pressure and the pursuit of independence in your 20s can feel like walking a tightrope, balancing the excitement of newfound freedom with the heavy burden of responsibility. For many, this decade marks the first time you are truly accountable for managing your own money. Whether you are paying rent, covering tuition loans, or simply buying groceries with your own paycheck, the weight of financial responsibility can be overwhelming. At the same time, there is a strong desire to establish independence, to prove to yourself and others that you're capable of standing on your own feet. Yet the path toward independence is rarely smooth, and it often comes with struggles that challenge both your confidence and your sense of security. One of the earliest financial hurdles in your 20s is the transition from dependence to self-sufficiency. Many young adults grow up with financial support from parents, scholarships, or part-time jobs that cover only basic needs. But once you step into adulthood, those safety nets begin to disappear. Suddenly, you are expected to budget, pay bills on time, and think about savings, all while earning an income that may not feel adequate. Entry-level jobs often pay modest salaries, making it difficult to keep up with rising living costs. This mismatch between expenses and earnings creates immediate pressure, as if you are always trying to stretch one paycheck into two, student debt adds another layer of stress. For those who pursued higher education, graduation often comes with significant financial baggage. Monthly loan repayments can feel like a chain tying you down, restricting your freedom to explore career options or take risks. Instead of chasing passions, you may feel forced into stable but unfulfilling jobs simply to keep up with debt. This can create resentment and frustration, leaving you with the sense that financial obligations are dictating your choices rather than your own desires. Cultural and family expectations intensify the financial struggle. In many societies, independence is not just about surviving on your own, it is also about reaching certain milestones, moving into your own apartment, buying a car, or even supporting parents and younger siblings financially. While these expectations can be noble, they can also feel like a crushing burden when you are barely able to take care of yourself. The pressure to present an image of financial stability, even when you are struggling, often leads to stress and shame. You may feel like you are failing if you cannot meet these milestones as quickly as others expect. Adding to this, the rise of consumer culture and social media makes financial independence even more complicated. You are constantly bombarded with images of people your age traveling the world, dining at fancy restaurants, or buying the latest gadgets. Even if you know intellectually that not everything online is real, the pressure to keep up can push you into overspending or living beyond your means. This creates a cycle of financial instability. Using credit cards, taking on debt, or relying on short-term fixes to maintain an image that does not reflect your true situation. The psychological impact of financial pressure cannot be overstated. Constant worrying about money can erode your mental health, causing anxiety, sleepless nights, or even depression. It can also strain relationships, as arguments about money often become a source of conflict with roommates, partners, or family members. The sense of being trapped working hard but never quite getting ahead can sap your motivation, leaving you feeling stuck and powerless. Financial instability often spills into other areas of life, making it difficult to focus on personal growth, relationships, or long-term goals. Yet, amid the challenges, financial pressure in your 20s can also become a powerful teacher. It forces you to develop skills that will serve you for the rest of your life: budgeting, prioritizing, and learning the difference between needs and wants. The struggle to make ends meet teaches resilience and resourcefulness. You discover creative ways to stretch your income, whether it's cooking at home instead of eating out, finding side hustles, or learning how to invest in small but meaningful ways. While the lessons are often hard-won, they lay the groundwork for a more stable and secure future. One important mindset shift is to see financial independence as a process rather than a single achievement. Independence does not happen overnight, it unfolds gradually through small steps. The first paycheck may not cover everything, but it represents progress. The first time you pay rent on your own or save a small emergency fund, you are building a foundation for greater security. Celebrating these small wins can help you maintain perspective and motivation, even when the larger goal feels far away. Support and education play a vital role in easing financial pressure. Unfortunately, many people enter adulthood without proper financial literacy. Schools often neglect to teach practical skills like budgeting, credit management, or investing. As a result, young adults are left to learn through trial and error, which can be costly and discouraging. Seeking out resources, books, podcasts, financial workshops, or mentors can make a tremendous difference. Understanding how to manage money not only reduces stress, but also empowers you to take control of your future rather than being controlled by it. It is also essential to resist the trap of comparison. Financial timelines are unique. Just because someone else seems ahead does not mean you are behind. Everyone has different circumstances, backgrounds, and opportunities that shape their journey. Recognizing this truth helps you release the pressure to measure yourself against others. Instead, you can focus on building your own version of independence, one that aligns with your goals, values, and circumstances. Another key aspect of financial independence is redefining what success looks like. Instead of equating success solely with wealth or possessions, you can consider freedom, stability, and peace of mind as equally valuable measures. For some, success might mean traveling light and living simply. For others, it might mean building assets or supporting a family. By defining success on your own terms, you reduce the need to chase external validation and instead pursue a path that feels sustainable and authentic. Ultimately, financial pressure and independence in your 20s represent both challenge and opportunity. The stress of managing money can feel relentless, but it also provides the chance to build resilience, discipline, and self-awareness. This decade is not about achieving instant wealth or perfection. It is about laying the foundation for a stable, fulfilling future. By approaching finances with patience, humility, and a willingness to learn, you can transform pressure into empowerment. Instead of viewing financial independence as a finish line you must cross immediately, you can see it as a lifelong journey, one step at a time, building confidence and strength along the way. Relationships and loneliness in your 20s create one of the most paradoxical experiences of early adulthood. On the surface, this is the decade when your social circle may be at its widest. You are surrounded by classmates, colleagues, or new acquaintances, and social media keeps you constantly connected to hundreds of people at the tap of a screen. Yet, despite this web of interactions, many young adults report feeling more isolated and misunderstood than ever before. This strange mix of being socially surrounded yet emotionally disconnected highlights one of the defining struggles of this age: learning how to build meaningful relationships while facing the reality of loneliness. In your 20s, relationships take on a heightened importance. Friendships that once formed effortlessly in school or childhood are now more complex, shaped by geography, career paths, and changing life goals. You may drift apart from childhood friends as your interests evolve, or you may find yourself building new connections in cities far from home. Each of these transitions requires effort and intentionality, and not every attempt results in lasting bonds. The uncertainty of who will remain in your life and who will fade away can leave you feeling unsettled, as if your support system is constantly shifting beneath your feet. Romantic relationships also play a central role during this stage of life. Some people are eager to find long-term partners, while others prefer to explore and learn through dating. Either way, relationships at this age often come with intense emotions and lessons. Breakups can feel earth-shattering, particularly when you believed the person was the one or when your identity became intertwined with a relationship. The pain of losing not just a partner, but also a vision of the future you imagined with them can deepen feelings of loneliness. Conversely, those who remain single may feel pressured by cultural expectations or peer milestones, friends getting engaged, married, or starting families, making them question whether they are falling behind. The irony is that while social media makes it appear that everyone else is surrounded by love, friends, and adventure, these portrayals are often curated illusions. Scrolling through endless pictures of group outings, vacations, or relationship milestones can exacerbate feelings of loneliness, even when you are not truly alone. You may begin to wonder why your relationships don't look as vibrant or why you don't feel as connected as others seem to. This illusion of connection makes loneliness sting even more, as it convinces you that you are the only one struggling. When in reality, many others share the same silent battles. Loneliness in your 20s is not just about the absence of people. It's often about the absence of deep understanding. You might attend gatherings, share jokes, and maintain surface-level interactions, yet still feel invisible. What most people crave is not more followers or acquaintances, but genuine connection, someone who listens without judgment, who understands your struggles, and who accepts you fully. Without these bonds, even the busiest social calendar can feel hollow, leaving you with a sense of emptiness that no amount of likes or messages can fill. This stage of life also tests your ability to set boundaries in relationships. You may encounter friendships or partnerships that are toxic, draining, or misaligned with your values. Walking away from these relationships can be painful, especially if you fear being alone. Yet learning to protect your energy and prioritize healthy connections is essential to emotional well-being. It's a process of discovering what you need from relationships, what you can give, and what you will no longer tolerate. These decisions, though difficult, help shape the quality of your future connections. The psychological effects of loneliness can be profound. Persistent loneliness has been linked to anxiety, depression, and even physical health issues. It erodes self-esteem, making you question whether you are likable or worthy of companionship. In extreme cases, it can create a vicious cycle. The more lonely you feel, the more you withdraw from others, which in turn deepens your isolation. Breaking free from this cycle requires courage, taking small steps to reach out, open up, and invest in relationships even when vulnerability feels risky. But amid the struggles, your 20s also present a powerful opportunity to cultivate relationships that truly matter. This decade gives you the chance to identify what kind of people you want around you, those who inspire, support, and challenge you in healthy ways. Unlike childhood friendships that may have formed by proximity, the connections you build now are often chosen with intention. This freedom allows you to create a circle that reflects your values and helps you grow into the person you want to become. Cultivating meaningful relationships requires effort and vulnerability. It means showing up consistently, listening deeply, and allowing yourself to be seen in your imperfections. It also means being willing to invest time and energy, even when life feels busy. True connection cannot be rushed. It grows gradually through trust, shared experiences, and honest conversations. By practicing vulnerability, you give others permission to do the same, creating bonds that feel authentic and enduring. At the same time, embracing solitude is just as important as seeking connection. Many people fear being alone, equating solitude with loneliness, but learning to enjoy your own company can be profoundly empowering. Solitude offers space for reflection, creativity, and self-discovery. It teaches you that your sense of worth does not depend solely on others' presence or approval. When you become comfortable with yourself, relationships become a choice rather than a necessity, allowing you to engage from a place of strength rather than desperation. In navigating relationships and loneliness, it helps to remember that both are part of the human experience. Feeling lonely does not mean you are broken. It means you are longing for connection, something all people share. By acknowledging these feelings rather than suppressing them, you take the first step toward change. Whether through reaching out to old friends, joining communities with shared interests, or seeking professional support, there are countless ways to move from isolation toward connection. Ultimately, your 20s are a time to redefine what relationships mean to you. It's a decade of transition where some bonds will fade and others will deepen. Loneliness may visit often, but it also nudges you to seek relationships that are real, meaningful, and aligned with who you are becoming. Through the ups and downs, you learn that connection is not about quantity but quality, and that true belonging begins with being authentic both to yourself and to others. In embracing both the pain of loneliness and the joy of meaningful relationships, you begin to build a foundation of connection that can sustain you for years to come. A crisis of faith in the future is one of the most difficult struggles people face in their 20s. It often begins quietly with small doubts and met expectations or setbacks, but can grow into a heavy cloud of uncertainty that lingers over daily life. At this age, the future is supposed to feel full of possibility, yet for many it feels like a looming question mark. Instead of being excited by the endless options ahead, you may find yourself paralyzed by fear, doubt, or hopelessness. The sense that you are falling behind, not living up to expectations, or unable to see where your path is heading can spark a profound crisis of faith in both yourself and the life you are trying to build. This crisis is often fueled by comparison. In your 20s, you see peers celebrating achievements, graduations, new jobs, promotions, marriages, or other milestones that make it seem like they have everything figured out. Meanwhile, you might still be experimenting with careers, struggling financially, or unsure about relationships. Social media magnifies these comparisons, showing only the polished highlights of others' lives while concealing their struggles. The more you compare, the more you feel inadequate, as if the future holds less promise for you than for everyone else. The pressure of expectations also weighs heavily on the future. Perhaps your family envisioned a particular path, earning a certain degree, landing a prestigious job, or reaching financial stability by a specific age. When reality does not align with those expectations, it can feel like you have already failed, even before your journey has truly begun. This sense of falling short makes it hard to believe in yourself or trust that the future holds better opportunities. Instead of being a source of hope, the future becomes a constant reminder of what you have not achieved. Uncertainty in the job market adds to the crisis. Economic instability, rapid technological changes, and shifting industries make it difficult to plan ahead with confidence. You may wonder whether the skills you are learning now will still be relevant in a few years, or whether the job you are chasing will even exist. This unpredictability can make you feel like no matter how hard you work, the ground beneath you is unstable. It's not just about making the wrong choice, it's about fearing that no choice will ever provide lasting security. For some, the crisis of faith in the future also stems from internal struggles, self-doubt, perfectionism, or fear of failure can distort how you see yourself and your potential. Even if opportunities are available, you may hesitate to take them because you question your worth or ability to succeed. Each missed chance reinforces the belief that you are not capable, creating a cycle where fear of failure prevents growth, which then deepens the despair about the future. The emotional toll of this crisis is profound. Living with uncertainty about the future often leads to anxiety, sleepless nights, and constant worrying. Instead of enjoying the present, you become consumed by what-if scenarios. What if I never succeed? What if I disappoint everyone? What if my life never improves? This state of mind not only drains your energy, but also robs you of hope, making it difficult to see possibilities even when they exist. At its worst, this crisis can lead to feelings of hopelessness or depression where the future feels less. Future is necessary. Obsessing over it can lead to paralysis. Grounding yourself in the present through mindfulness, daily routines, or small achievable goals helps you regain a sense of control. Instead of trying to solve the next 10 years, you can focus on what you can do today, this week, or this month. These small steps build momentum, slowly restoring confidence in your ability to shape your future one decision at a time. Another key strategy is reframing failure. Much of the crisis comes from the fear that mistakes will ruin everything. But in reality, failure is an inevitable part of growth. Your 20s are not about getting everything right, they are about experimenting, learning, and adapting. When you begin to see setbacks as lessons rather than verdicts, you reduce the fear that the future is something to be feared. Every misstep becomes information, guiding you closer to what works for you. Support systems also matter deeply during this stage. Talking with mentors, friends, or mental health professionals can help you see your situation from a different perspective. Often, others can remind you of strengths and possibilities you overlook when you are caught in fear. Hearing stories of how people navigated uncertainty in their own 20s can normalize the struggle and remind you that clarity often comes later than expected. You are not behind, you are simply in the middle of the process of becoming. It is also important to cultivate hope intentionally. Hope does not always arrive naturally, it often has to be nurtured through gratitude, affirmations, or envisioning possibilities. By focusing on what is working rather than only on what is missing, you strengthen your belief that progress is possible. Surrounding yourself with people, environments, and habits that inspire hope helps counterbalance the weight of doubt. Even small glimpses of possibility can reignite faith that the future holds something worth striving for. Ultimately, the crisis of faith in the future is not a sign that you are broken, it is a sign that you are searching. It reflects the deep desire to live a meaningful life, even if you don't yet know what that life looks like. While the uncertainty is uncomfortable, it is also fertile ground for growth, creativity, and transformation. By embracing the unknown, practicing patience, and building resilience, you can gradually replace fear with trust. Trust that the future does not have to be perfectly mapped out to be meaningful. Trust that you are capable of handling challenges as they come. Trust that life, even with its uncertainties, still holds opportunities for joy, purpose, and fulfillment. In the end, your 20s are not about predicting the future with certainty, they are about learning how to walk forward even without all the answers. By moving through this crisis with courage and openness, you build not just a future worth living, but also the strength and wisdom to embrace it fully when it arrives. So, if you're in your 20s and feeling stuck, confused, or overwhelmed, remember this: a quarter-life crisis isn't a dead end, it's a turning point. It's the moment you start asking the hard questions that shape who you're truly meant to become. Every struggle you face now is carving out a stronger, wiser version of you. You're not behind and you're not alone, you're simply in the middle of building your story. If this video gave you clarity or comfort, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join this community. Together, we'll keep exploring the challenges of life and turning them into opportunities for growth. Thanks for watching, and remember, your 20s aren't about having it all figured out, they're about learning, growing, and becoming the person you're meant to be. I'll see you in the next video.